So, in the former class, we left on in this part of overview of metabolism, where we saw that there is something called a compartmentalization in the cell, where a compartment of mitochondria is separated from that of the compartment of the cytoplasm, as a result of which react biochemical metabolic reactions which take place in the cytoplasm, they are separate from the reaction which takes place inside the mitochondria. But at the time, it requires that end products of metabolism in the cytoplasm, they be transported inside the mitochondria for further processing. At this point, we need a certain few components known as the membrane transporters and shuttles and transporters. Thus, shuttle and transporters, they play a very important role in moving biochemical metabolites and intermediates from one compartment to the other compartment, whether it be from a peroxisome to the cytoplasm, or cytoplasm to peroxisome, cytoplasm to mitochondria, mitochondria to cytoplasm, and various organelles. Even there are certain transporters which are present outside the cell, which are present outside the cell on the plasma membrane, which sort of shuttles materials to the outside from inside, and from inside to outside, vice versa. So with this, let me share my note. Okay. So we talked today about shuttle and transfer membrane transporters. So one of the major mechanisms for the regulation of metabolic processes, major mechanism for the regulation of metabolic processes is related to the fact that most of the processes are located in specific compartments within the cell. This means separate pools of some important metabolites. They are maintained in different locations, allowing the movement of therefore, allowing movement of these molecules between these pools act as an additional level of regulation. So you can see that there is one more level of regulation, and that is allowing certain important metabolites from one compartment into the another compartment. If there is too much of one compartment inside, too much of one component inside one compartment, then the shuttles, they stop entry of that same component inside that compartment. So this is a one more step of regulation. So this is especially obvious in the case of mitochondria, where the inner membrane is a barrier to the transit of most molecules. There are, of course, a few molecules which can go. They are like carbon dioxide, oxygen, and ammonia, and some small carboxylic acids in their uncharged forms. They can move inside the inner mitochondrial membrane. Otherwise, they are impermeable. Otherwise, for their entry, there are specific transporter proteins through which these molecules pass from one compartment to the other compartment. So there is a shuttle system. It is a system. It is involved in the transport of electrons or organic groups across biological membranes. So what the definition of a shuttle system is? It is a system involved in the transport of electrons or organic compounds across biological membranes. So, and shuttles are systems of enzymes or transporters. The enzymes convert molecules into metabolites that are capable of crossing membranes via the transporter, a process that is frequently followed by reformation of the original molecule. So, and a molecule in one compartment gets converted into the original molecule A in one compartment, gets converted through these enzymes of the shuttle into a compound known as A dash, say for example. A modification takes place. Now A dash is has got a property by which it can easily transfer itself from one side of the membrane to the other side of the membrane into the other compartment. And the once it transfers itself to the other side of the compartment, this enzyme again converts or this enzyme or related enzyme of enzyme of the particular enzyme complex, it converts this A dash back into the original form A. So this is a philosophy principle which occurs during shuttling. So let us talk about some important shuttle and transporters. The first is adenine nucleotide and phosphate translocases. So the oxidative phosphorylation pathway, which I will be taking up in this semester, it is a pathway. It generates ATP inside the mitochondria. So a lot of ATP is formed inside the mitochondria, but this ATP, however, most ATP dependent processes occur in other compartments of the cell. However, if it stays in the mitochondria, it is of no use. It needs to get outside. Therefore, ATP must be pumped out of the mitochondria, and the ADP and inorganic phosphate generated elsewhere must be pumped inside the mitochondria. So ATP, which is formed inside the mitochondria from ADP and inorganic phosphate and energy from the electron phosphate complexes, which are electron transport chain phosphate complexes which are present. And so this ATP which is formed, it needs certain raw materials, and these raw materials, as you know, are ADP and PI. And ATP is needed in different processes, like in glycolysis, you need ATP in the first step, then in the PFK step, you need ATP over there. So what happens then? So this ATP, therefore, from the mitochondria, it needs to be pumped out into the cytoplasm. So where it can be utilized for glycolysis, and the ADP and PI, which is from which the ATP is formed, which is that needs to be that is formed inside the cytoplasm, that needs to be pumped inside your mitochondria, so that they can be used as raw material to produce more ATP using the electron transport chain. So the ATP translocator is actually not a pump, because ATP 4 minus has got more charges than ADP 3 minus. The proton gradient tends to force the ATP out of the mitochondria, even in the face of an opposite concentration gradient. So ATP 4 minus, it has got 4 negative charges, and ADP has got less negative charges. Therefore, the proton gradient, therefore, less negative charge means it has got more positive charge than ATP. My ADP has got more positive charge than ATP, because it has got less negative charge than ATP, because a corresponding hydrogen ion is also present. Therefore, this proton gradient which is formed, it forces the ATP outside, because proton H plus concentration in the intermembrane space, it's quite high. And so this pulls the ATP outside. Uh, so if I am to draw this properly, let us imagine a membrane. This is the inner side. This is inside the mitochondria, and this is outside the mitochondria. Now, and this is the intermembrane space. In here, H plus concentration or proton concentration is very high, and you have lots of ATP, and it has got 4 minus charges. So what it does is it pulls ATP outside because of this negative charge difference. And this is how, and this is because of this particular translocator. So it pulls. So ATP from inside the mitochondria is pushed outside. But ADP has got three charges. It is pulled by it is pulled less. So this is actually what the principle is. At the same time, phosphate also must be moved into the mitochondria to allow ATP synthesis. The movement of phosphate can be driven by a proton gradient dependent pump. So there is a proton gradient dependent pump. It has also got exchangers. So let us look at a figure, at the figure of a what happens here. So this is the intermembrane space. This is the mitochondrial matrix over there. Then you have the adenine nucleotide translocase antiporter. So what the antiporter does from the matrix, it pulls ATP minus outside. At the same time, ADP3 minus is pushed inside. At the same time, this reaction, just hold on, someone wants to enter. At the same time, ADP is converted into ATP. Then this is the ATP synthase. This is the ATP synthase enzyme. This there is a proton gradient which through which H plus ion goes inside, and this proton gradient, and then there is of course your phosphate symporter. So H plus is pushed inside along with phosphoric acid which comes through this phosphate translocator, and this converts is required for the production of ATP. So this is how your adenine nucleotide phosphate translocases work. Now let us get back to the next transporter. And that is the acyl carnitine transporter, which you have seen in beta oxidation. So let us look what happens through this figure. So this is the mitochondrial matrix that's inside the membrane. This is the intermembrane space. And this is the outer mitochondrial membrane. Now, this is the fatty acyl CoA which is formed inside the cytoplasm. This fatty acyl CoA from that fatty acyl CoA, you can see that CoASH is released, and to that is attached this molecule known as carnitine is attached. This carnitine is attached, and the molecule becomes fatty acid carnitine, and you have the first enzyme, which is the carnitine acyl transferase, which removes this acyl group out and becomes fatty acid carnitine. And this fatty acid carnitine therefore is able to enter inside. And this is the transporter, this pink colored. This is the transporter. Then there is this carnitine acyl transferase, which converts this back into SCOA. So the original compound A is again regenerated back. So this is how fatty acid is, because of these two enzymes, carnitine acyl transferase 1 and transferase 2, and this transporter present in the center, fatty acyl CoA is able to pass through the mitochondrial membrane. Then you have the PIH plus symporter of the inner mitochondrial membrane. Let's see if we have a picture of that. If not, let us. I'm going to share the picture. Just hold on, I'm opening the picture. And I'm going to share it first. So this is the picture, the PIH importer. So what happens over here? Phosphate ADP and phosphate gets converted into ATP and H plus and phosphate. They enter from the intermembrane space into the mitochondrial matrix. And at the moment there is a turbine which moves, and then that generates energy, and this forms. And you can see that H plus, the concentration of which is high over here, it enters inside. And it moves the turbine, and that energy, it takes a phosphate and ADP, and it's converted into ATP. Okay, great. So let's get back to the original note. Okay. The next one which we study is the malate aspartate shuttle. So this shuttle is important for transporting reducing equivalents from cytosolic NADH into in the form of cytosolic NADH into the mitochondrial matrix. It's used in the liver, kidney, and heart. NADH in the cytosol and intermembrane space passes to reducing equivalents to oxaloacetate, producing malate. Malate crosses the inner membrane via the malate alpha ketoglutarate transporter. And in the third step, malate passes to reducing equivalents to NAD plus, and the resulting NADH is oxidized by the respiratory chain. The oxaloacetate formed from malate cannot pass directly into the cytosol. So let us look at the what happens. This is the malate aspartate shuttle which is taking place. So let us look at this malate aspartate shuttle. This is the mitochondrial matrix. This is the intermembrane space. This is the malate. You have aspartate over here. So the enzyme aspartate aminotransferase converts aspartate into oxaloacetate. This oxaloacetate is unable to pass through the mitochondrial membrane since it's got lots of negative charges. Lots of negative charges present on oxaloacetate, it cannot transfer. So what it does is NADH plus H plus, from there it takes two hydrogen ions and then it's converted to NAD plus and becomes malate. Malate, there it's got less charge because it has been reduced. Malate has got less charge because it is reduced. It is able to cross through. And then again, from it takes an NADH and malate then releases the NADH plus H plus back to, and this NADH plus H plus is regenerated back. And oxaloacetate is formed. This way, oxaloacetate is able to enter inside. And inside, of course, oxaloacetate can get converted into alpha ketoglutarate, which gets converted into glutamate. So you can find that how even through this manner, glutamate and alpha ketoglutarate, they can also enter into the mitochondria from outside or exit the mitochondria from inside to the outside. It gets converted into aspartate, and aspartate then it can shuttle out easily, and aspartate then gets converted again back to oxaloacetate and oxaloacetate. So all these cycles are linked. So you can see the importance of these transporters and shuttles in moving important intermediates, the NADPH, malate, oxalate, oxaloacetate, glutamate, alpha ketoglutarate, from inside one compartment to from one compartment to the other, and vice versa. Then we talk about the next shuttle, which is the glycerophosphate shuttle. So glycerol 3-phosphate shuttle, what it does is that this is the membrane, mitochondrial membrane, flavoprotein dehydrogenase FADH2 FAD is converted to FADH2, and from glycerol 3-phosphate, you know that dihydroxyacetone phosphate is formed in glycolysis, and another process, glycerol 3-phosphate, NAD and NADH conversion, reversible. Glycerol 3-phosphate gets converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate. And from glycerol 3-phosphate, the hydrogen is given and from that 2 electron is given to this Q, and this is used in the electron transport chain. So this is another way by which the shuttle takes place. The next shuttle is the citrate pyruvate shuttle. This is also an important shuttle, the citrate pyruvate shuttle. As you can see, the pyruvate inside this is the matrix. Let's draw the line. Matrix, mitochondrial matrix. And this is outside. Pyruvate outside. There is a pyruvate pump which pushes the pyruvate inside. Pyruvate carboxylase converts ATP plus CO2. AD, it is hydrolyzed, and we find the compound known as oxaloacetate being formed. Then the Krebs cycle starts to take place. Citrate synthase. Then you see citrate with which is formed. Then of course this is the citrate malate exchanger. What it does is the citrate which is outside, it can go outside. Malate and citrate can go outside and inside. We have talked about the malate citrate shuttle. Then citrate inside the cytoplasm is converted into pyruvate through this process. Citrate. Then you have malate dehydrogenase. Just hold on, there is a phone call. मैं बाद में फोन करता हूं, मैं क्लास ले रहा हूं, ठीक है? So again, oxaloacetate is converted to malate. So you have to practice these reactions. You have read all these reactions last year in the last semester. So this is the citrate pyruvate shuttle. So with this we end today's class. Do you people have got any questions? I have already shared this note. Please feel free to ask. Monidipto, question? Shambhavi?
না স্যার বোঝা গেছে আগের সেমিস্টার এগুলো ছিল তো তাই জন্য বোঝা গেছে ভালো করে
Okay. It is just to give you an overview. You had seen all these reactions before, but now where these reactions take place, you are analyzing this reaction in view of a compartment. First, you had read these reactions as reactions and the regulation. Now you are visualizing where these reactions are taking place in the cell and what are the transporters, how they are working. Just practice these diagrams and read this note well. I think this should be sufficient for your life.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I'm ending my class over here. I will tell when the next class is.